Hello, this is Ryan with Selling University, and today we're going to talk about handling an objection that's often heard in B2B sales. Now, B2B sales, for those of you that are new to this channel or new to sales, stands for business to business sales. Essentially, you're a business providing a service or product to another business. This type of sales is usually a little bit of a slower process. You're a lot of times presenting to multiple decision makers, and the ask is usually very large. So the stakes are a little bit higher than maybe some other forms of sales in the business to consumer realm. Now, a common objection that you're going to often get in B2B sales, and I hear this objection a lot, and I feel like a lot of salespeople completely miss the mark when it comes to this objection. You've presented your product, you delivered value. The client, the prospect was asking questions. They were engaged. You were handling those questions with your expert knowledge on your product or service. Now comes the big moment, presenting the price. You deliver the price. The customer looks at you and their response, look, it's a great product. It looks good. I feel like you can deliver. I feel like this could really help us, but it's not really in the budget right now. I'd like to come back and visit this in Q1 with our new budget. And now you're deflated. Look, a lot of sales reps, they're going to get this objection. Presentation went well. Everything seems to make sense. It seems to be a fit. But they're like, hey, it's Q4, new budget Q1. I'd like to talk to you again in a couple months. Now, you're used to long pipelines and slow processes, so you might think, okay, no, absolutely, that makes sense. Let's wait, let's talk, let's set another meeting for second or third week of January so we can discuss this again with the new budgets. Or you're going to make the mistake of, which that's just a good salesperson is not going to just take one objection and fold tent and set another meeting. That's not a quality salesperson. Or you're going to address this objection. And a lot of salespeople in this position are going to misunderstand this objection. We've talked about this in other videos, how the client's objections aren't necessarily meant to be taken on face value. They're masking something. They're trying to be polite. They're not really telling you exactly how they feel because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Now, a lot of sales reps are going to take this objection and kind of turn it into a fear of loss or of this product will save you money. This is going to help your budget. Oh, great. You have a budget problem? Remember how you agreed with me that this product would help make your team more efficient, cut costs, get you under budget? How can you afford not to do something? This is the objection handling of not you can't afford to wait, which is something that might work in certain circumstances or might be the right play in certain circumstances. Often it's the right play when you're trying to set the meeting or trying to get the actual presentation. But you're in the presentation. You have an interested buyer in front of you. And you're talking to a decision maker in a large business. I think they're smart enough to know that, yes, if this product saves them money, they're gonna get their under budget. They're gonna solve budget issues. How could they get a head start at next year's budget? If they're a smart client, like we know they are, and the service is gonna save them money, make their team more efficient, get them under budget, it's a no-brainer. Let's remind them of that, get them moving forward. Well, again, this is why I feel like most sales reps make a mistake by going this route, is they're not uncovering the true objection. If the client actually believed you could deliver, this product actually could give them some help to their budget, could help them get under budget. They're smart enough to make that decision to like, hey, how can I afford not to do something? How can I afford inaction when I need to take action to get our budget under control? Get started on next year's budget. So now we've actually uncovered what's really going on here. They simply don't believe you. They don't think you can deliver. Your presentation that they agree or they were questioning on, that they saw value in, the questions they were asking, they just don't feel like you truly were giving them the answers they needed to feel comfortable moving forward with you. If you're in business to business sales, you're not just getting a deal and moving on to the next person. You're developing a client relationship with your clients. You're developing a long-term relationship where you're going to be in business with them. Yes, you have many clients that you work with, but this client is in business with you. You're a vendor. You're helping out their business. They're just as important. They're viewing this presentation just as important as if they're hiring their next executive role. They don't want to make a mistake of getting the wrong person. So we know they're not that if they don't feel like you can deliver, how can we address this objection to help them feel more confident that we can deliver? The way I like to take this objection is this route. All right, they've told me that they'd like my product. They see value. My product could help them, but we're not making any new additions to the budget for the rest of Q4. We'd like to take a look at this again when the budget's under review in Q1. I would respond, excellent. No, totally understand. I don't want anyone to use my product or my service and have a cash flow issue. Cash flow is king in business. This product needs to cash flow itself. It needs to pay for itself with your savings. That's why we have a payment structure and a budgeting structure with this service is you're not even going to start fully paying for this service until we're looking at Q1's budget because we've got to implement this product. We've got to conduct orientation. We got to integrate it into your systems. We got to get your team trained on it. We got to get your team to adopt it. We got to get it working within your system of operations so that you can see the full results of this service. Look, I'm not looking for you to pay completely up front. That's not how we do things. We want this thing paying for itself as it goes. We want to get started because this is a process that takes a while. You've got a big team. There's a lot of things in this and moving in this major change. How can I expect you to pay for everything up front when you're not going to get any benefits on this for months down the road? Look, we've got a very lenient and structured payment plan based on deliverables. Once we hit a certain objective with your team, that's when you release funding and so forth. Until we have this thing completely implemented and rolled out, and now you're into a monthly plan. Now, this objection could be adjusted a little bit or even worked into the sales presentation a little bit, and so you can recall it easier. But essentially, the way I'm handling this objection is I'm trying to show this prospect that, hey, I believe in what I have for you because I want it to work for you. And anyway, and I know that it's going to work for you. That's why it's set up so that you're paying as you use it. So you're not investing in it up front to see returns down the road. You're paying for it as it gives you the results you need. That shows my prospect that, hey, I'm looking to be in business with him. I'm not looking at him as a paycheck. I'm not looking at him as a Q4 bonus check. I'm looking at him as a long-term partner that's gotta pay to play, and I gotta produce to get paid. If I truly believe in what I'm doing and I know it's gonna help them, it's a no-brainer. I don't need to I don't need him to overextend himself financially, just like he doesn't need me to overextend myself financially to service him. So, this is a good way, I think, to address this objection and take it in a route that shows your prospect, the person you're sitting in front of, that, "Hey, I'm looking to be a long-term partner. I'm looking to essentially be an employee of your company. I'm looking to deliver things that are gonna create value, that are gonna pay for themselves as they go." This is Ryan. I'm with Selling University. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I look forward to seeing you again on the next one.